We are live. Okay, so Ryan, you know how this works, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
No issues. Jenny,
I know.
old hat.
Yep,
All right,
let's do it.
Here comes the intro. Oh, no,
Maybe.
maybe,
Oh, no.
maybe not. Technical difficulties.
Do I need to sing for the intro or anything?
Technical
Go
difficulties.
ahead.
Huh. Let's just figure something out
What
here
would
real
that
quick.
sound like? Just off the cuff, kind of.
Yeah, that would not be good.
Clinton.
Yeah, I
The
know.
viewers would go way down.
Yeah, here. I don't know what's going on there. All right, well, I'll put those in post-production. How about that?
All right, then.
We'll figure this out. It's always something. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Grow Clinton podcast. That's right, your number one podcast for everything happening in Clinton. I am your host, Andy Sokolovich, the president and CEO of Grow Clinton. As always, joined by Jenny Home from her office. Jenny, what's happening?
Oh, did we ever have fun last night?
Oh, we did.
Didn't we?
It was our third annual meeting. We got to call it something else instead of just annual meeting.
Yes, because that sounds a little stuff.
Third annual meeting. No, it's a third year. We're celebrating the existence of Grow Clinton following the
Yay.
merger of the Chamber of Commerce and the Development Corporation back in 2022. We had an amazing night. Thank you so much to the Wild Rose Casino and Hotel for providing an amazing venue. Thank you to Ashley Hatterberg from our office for creating an amazing event. Thank you for all the staff for making sure that the event went off without any issues. And then we had a really cool time with some dueling pianos.
Oh, my God.
Those guys were very talented.
I just sat and stared, and then I started singing, and the table cleared off.
Yeah. Midwest dueling pianos.
Oh, so good.
One's from Kansas City, the other guy's from Michigan.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, they made the trip to come out here and entertain us.
Well, here's the thing, too. Wasn't one on American Idol and made it through a few rounds?
Yes, Matt
Wow.
was actually on American Idol and the televised portion of American Idol.
Gee.
So yeah, good dude, great
rolling it.
performers. We had an
Yeah.
amazing time. So
We really did, and we gave out some great awards.
Jenny, you know what also was amazing?
Scott Bodie, I know that.
Scott Bodie, high speed internet for Miles Communications. Yeah, he does a phenomenal job for us. Miles Communications, if you're not familiar, small comm company located in Miles, Iowa. They hook us up with high speed fiber internet. Be sure to check them out at milestelephone.com, milestelephone.com. I don't know if our studio is haunted.
It is. We have
or
gremlins
what,
or something.
but our light
Lights
just
going
went
out,
off.
Intro won't work.
Oh,
Yeah, the intro
man.
won't work. I tell you what. Well, here to fix it all, ladies and gentlemen, the president of Clinton Engineering, Rayn Birney's in the house. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me.
I think you think if you're busy, well, Andy is super busy. I think you're just a super busy.
Constantly on the move.
Yeah,
Wow.
always on the move, always got something going on.
Absolutely.
But, you know, we love it, and you're joining us here for the podcast today. So Clinton Engineering, explain to us what happens at Clinton Engineering, what services you offer, and how the name may be a little confusing.
It is very confusing for a lot of people because we do not do any engineering services anymore at all. Back in the day when Clinton Engineering was founded, there were in-house engineers as well as construction crew. So it has been decades and decades since we have practiced engineering services. We have had people on staff that have had their engineering backgrounds or engineering degrees, but today we are a general contractor that self-performs anything from concrete, carpentry, and steel. Those are our core capabilities.
Well, some of the amazing projects that have been completed by Clinton Engineering around the region here, specifically the Clinton area, you guys did the new little shop down at the marina.
We
Here in
did.
Clinton. What
Yeah,
are they
we
calling it? The ship shop or ship something?
Store.
Ship store.
Oh, they missed
Yeah.
out on Ship Shop.
Yeah, ship shop.
Oh.
Maybe we can change that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk to them.
Yeah, no, you've done that. Kadavy?
Right next to Candlelight, which we did. We
Yeah.
were the general contractor on
What?
that one too.
Back in the day.
So beautiful.
Kadavy Orthodontics, you hooked them up
Yep.
and redid the interior of their building. Very cool space. I take my kid there once every couple of months to get his braces tightened. So that's great. And the list goes on. I mean, the most recent project, I guess, in Clinton is now underway is the Bickelhaupt Arboretum.
That is a major one for us. So that one tends to be a bit confusing for us because we're not the project itself, but we are the construction management agent on that project, which means that we are acting as on behalf of the owners as their representatives to keep the schedule on track and the budget keep things under budget. But we are assisting the engineers and the architect getting the bid package packages out. So we are also attempting it, and we were successful at low bidder on a couple of the self-performed packages up there as well. So I believe even today we had a concrete pour up there to get some of the new deck foundations.
You
so
did,
excited
because
about that.
I was walking past, because I
big
live
pump
right
truck up there.
I live right there, and there was a quality concrete truck pulling
Yeah.
in right behind me.
So do you ever get a project, this Arboretum project, when I saw the plans for that and there's the floor that they're going to be
It's
doing,
going to be beautiful.
I was like, huh? I don't understand it. So do you ever get a project where you're just like, this is going to be amazing?
That one will absolutely be one of those legacy jobs that we will be so proud to have our name behind. And because the visions that the team with EICC and the foundation have, and that they're bringing to life via the architects and engineers on that is amazing. The fact that they took the indoor pool that was a staple of that house, and they didn't want to lose that. They could have easily said, nope, we're just going to fill it in. We're going to put a new floor over it. We'll just have it as event space. That wasn't the vision that they wanted. And so the team had this vision for this glass floor to go over top of that existing pool, and with artwork underneath, with downlighting on it. So the renderings are absolutely gorgeous, and it's going to be something. It's going to be a landmark of our area.
And see, this is what answer the question why you're still Clinton Engineering, because for how many decades have you been a cornerstone in our community,
99 years
working on all these projects?
1926, right?
1926. Next year will be our 100-year anniversary.
I like to say that was quick math, but I read through their website.
Just take credit.
You guys do phenomenal work. You've done actually the room that we're sitting in right now.
That is correct. That was a nice little job.
Yeah, the project manager for that was none other than Kevin Sanchez, and
who is also on the Arboretum job.
He did a phenomenal job. Great communication, working with me. Did excellent working with the subcontractors to ensure we met all the codes necessary for the room in itself. But yeah, that was an easy process.
It was
Oh,
great.
very good. Thank you for
And
that.
now you're doing some more work for us next door.
Next door.
Somebody has to get you an office.
We gotta get that tennis space done. We'll get it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. And I love everything you guys do. But tell me too about some of your prefabricated buildings, specifically Star, and then there's what is it, Lester?
Lester.
Yeah.
So we got two different types of buildings that we are certified dealers for. We have been around the area putting up a lot of Star buildings, which is a pre-engineered metal building that you would see. You would
an
think
example of that is was Detterman Asphalt, now Manats.
that is correct.
Right there in
Also
Comanche.
that we did a hangar out at the Clinton Airport. We did some work with Quality Concrete, and quite a few additions around here for local industry. So the biggest difference between the Star brand, which is a pre-engineered metal building, is just more comes down to the framework. It allows for larger structures with clear span or not, if you put columns in to cut down on some steel cost. But those are through our building dealer Star. But then we have the other end of the spectrum, which is our wood prefabricated buildings through Lester,
like a pole barn.
They're more of a pole barn style. So a couple of examples of those around our area is right behind Great Revivalist.
Yeah, the red and black
The
building.
red and black's cold storage building we put up for them, and we did the Clinton Community School District bus barn, and then we've done a few more outside of town in the agricultural industry. So those are made out of your common pole barns. You have dimensional lumber that is arranged and pre-engineered, and Lester holds himself high on as far as being the Cadillac of those type of buildings.
And does that get delivered just like a kit?
It does. It absolutely does.
It
Comes on one or two semis, depending on, or more, depending on the size of it, and everything's pre-cut. Everything's like I said, pre-cut, pre-finished. You're just putting it up like an erector set at that point.
And the building behind Great Revivalist, that fits in so well, and it's so pretty. I love it.
You can put all sorts of features in both styles of buildings. You put one person would think a warehouse. Okay, I got tall side walls. I got a low slope roof, and it can look pretty plain Jane, but it serves a function. But even the metal buildings can have architectural features, different facades, different types of finishes, different aesthetics with different parapet walls and canopies and everything else that go. So it's amazing when people think about what their facility may look like, the options that are out there for both, if they want to go with the wood route with the Lester brand that we serve, and or the pre-engineered metal route, which is through our Star brand building dealership.
So many
You
options.
know what I want, Jenny?
What's that? What?
And I've been looking at them. They're popping up everywhere.
What?
A barn dominium.
Oh, so do I.
I live in one.
Do you really?
I live in a Lester
super-
brand building.
I'm super jealous because my wife and I have now committed ourselves that one day we will find acreage somewhere in Clinton County
Yeah.
and build a barn dominium.
I want a barn dominium.
It took a
Yeah.
minute to talk my wife into it, but then once we saw, because it doesn't look like a pole barn. It does, but it doesn't. You can tell.
I've seen them, and they're great.
There's one actually on the what's that back way if you're going to Bettendorf.
67.
Like take 67, then you take you go past McCausland and up through there.
Yep.
There's one that was just constructed right there at like the Argo Fay.
Yeah.
And man, that's cool.
Sweet.
Real cool.
You start adding in like wraparound porches. We did stone on the bottom, wainscot area and stuff like that. You start adding in those features with normal windows, with normal garage doors and everything else. Really what you're looking at is just a building with, and you don't have to put metal siding on it.
What do you think of it? I mean, how do you
Is it
like
an open
it?
floor
I
plan?
love it. It's
Yeah.
absolutely open. I get from sidewall to sidewall. When they put the shell up, there was nothing in the middle. You had every freedom in the world to do what you wanted to inside of that.
I want that.
I want that too.
Oh.
Yeah. So we do have a spot in our home, in our dining room and living room, that it is 42 foot wide.
And the cost
42.
of them is, I mean, it's
It all
pretty affordable.
for the shell. That is correct.
Right.
It all comes down to the finishes you want. Just like anything else, you can the shell is one thing. No matter what, you're going to put walls up. No matter what, you're going to put a roof up. You're going to side it with what you want. You're going to roof it with what you want. It's what you put inside of it. You can go with laminate countertops, or you can go with high end marble. Well, then you just added $20,000 to your budget just by the type of countertop that you chose.
Devil's in the detail.
What about the insulation and like plumbing and electric for those things? I mean, it's got to be much easier, I would think, to thread all that stuff through when it's a big open space.
Because a lot of people think that they're restricted to just having I'm going to have a slab floor, which we do. We actually have exposed stained concrete floors throughout the entire house. But
I love that.
That's kind of a cool thing. I mean, people love that.
When you're in the concrete business, you have concrete. But so the plumbing's all underground, stubbed up at the points we need. But you can put basements in. You can put second levels in. You can be inside of a pole barn home, a house, barn dominium, whatever you want to call it, and you will have no idea. The insulation, it is sound, it's solid. We did spray foam insulation and big, thick, blown-in insulation in the attic space. It's the possibilities are endless with that.
And what's the timeline then? What's the timeline from start to finish, moving in on a barn dominium?
For us, I believe we had concrete going down in June, and we were moving in around Thanksgiving.
Jeez, that's awesome.
It all depends on your finishes.
Talking us into it.
Now, if you ask my wife, we got done building about 5 years ago. But because we moved in as soon as we could, obviously. But
I just like the storage capabilities.
Me too.
I mean, because I have a classic car and a ton of tools and my hunting stuff, and like I need a big garage space.
People
and then I want my man cave.
Right.
So I'm thinking we have a nice barn dominium. She loves the farmhouse style look.
Right.
She has her space. She can decorate the living quarters any way she wants.
Right.
And then I get to have the garage space.
I like the
I thought
idea.
that too, Andy, but then
Don't ruin this for
I was
me.
going to say 3 kids later, between 7 different bicycles and scooters and the little battery operated cars and
I am
lawnmowers.
slowly getting choked out of any space in my house.
Well, it's
that's
true.
mine.
And when you have kids, it's really nice to have some bigger rooms, where it's not necessary, but if you can do it and you can do it
Very
affordably,
cool.
that's cool.
And Clinton Engineering can do this.
So what we would provide in those situations is a shell.
Okay.
Because we try not to, and I say this with respect to all the listeners, we don't do residential construction.
I figured this.
But as a building dealer for Leicester, we absolutely will do shells. So that would mean your exterior walls and your roof would be in place and ready for whoever you had. If it was yourself, you wanted to do a DIY project like I did, where we had the shell built and then I did all the interior framing and hired out all the different subcontractors for things. So we absolutely have, and we've been quoting over the last couple of years. We've been a dealer for about 3 years now. And we've been quoting out quite a few shells. There's a lot of interest in that. Some of them have basements, some of them don't. But we would absolutely be part of the shells.
So what's the square footage on that? I mean, what's the biggest? What's the smallest? Or you just do what you want?
And the possibilities are endless with those. within reason. Everything's within reason, right?
Right.
So Lester can provide up to 110-foot clear span truss if you want, wide,
Ooh.
and then length is and again within reason, infinite, because you're just adding bays to keep on
Right.
Yeah.
going. So, but when you get up to that 110-foot range, you know that the cost for wood versus that's when you might want to look at more of the steel options and kind of look at that with our Star brand. But a lot of those you see a lot of those requests for quotes coming into our facility with 40-foot wide, 60-foot wide buildings, and anywhere in between. You don't have to be round numbers. You can be anything you want
Right.
at that point. So,
Yeah, very
so
cool.
as long as you have
Bet.
your footprint, it doesn't have to be a rectangle either. You can have little wings coming off of it, and it's
Yeah,
really
I'm
neat.
always really inquisitive about that house that's located off of Stockwell.
Yes.
That's the Octagon or something
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
I was around when that was built.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept
It
there.
is.
So, Ryan, regarding commercial, industrial, what project is there too small, too large? I mean, what is your sweet spot at Clinton Engineering?
There is not a project too small, too large when it comes to the industrial world, because we actually serve as the contractor for quite a few facilities here in town, to where it might be an industrial manufacturer in town here that they just need a little floor patch put in, or a couple of different protective bollards or something put in, you know, $2,000, $3,000 jobs, and then anywhere and take that and go to as high as you could imagine, were multi-million-dollar opportunities. So we try to build the relationships with the manufacturing entities to prove to them that, you know, large or small, we strive to be your first call.
Yeah.
So where's your name around town? Tell us some about, besides Arboretum, what are some of the other projects
Absolutely.
you work
The
on?
list goes on. You
Yeah.
gotta go to their website. You can look at all their projects on
Right.
their website.
So
That's true.
Currently, one of the bigger. So we serve three markets. We serve the commercial market, we serve the industrial market, we serve the civil market. So we have our core capabilities of steel, concrete, and carpentry that we serve those markets in. So we'll start with industrial. So we have a partnership with quite a few facilities in town here. One of our bigger facilities that we serve is Lyondell Basel. We have I think we are sitting at about 20 employees on site there every day right now, working on various opportunities with them, especially as they gear up for next year's big event for their turnaround. Nestle Purina has been a great customer of ours in the past. We actually just met them for a job walk down this morning to Timken Drives, Collis, West Rock. The names go on and on. So we're doing a project at Sethnes Roquette right now.
Yeah.
I'm
Putting
familiar
a new,
with that one.
putting a new
Lab.
research and
Yeah.
R&D
Lab.
addition lab on there. So that one's ongoing. So we
You got a wall up on that one, right?
Right. Yep. We
I
have
saw it the
all
other day.
the concrete block are up right now, and I think next week we'll be putting the steel rafters and decking on to allow the
Very nice.
roofing contractor to come
They're
in.
excited
Yeah, I
about
was just
that.
in there last week.
were
Their
you?
president of their America's operation was actually
Oh, yeah.
here. She's headquartered out of Chicago, and she was awesome. She was very nice. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she was very approachable and she was very cordial. We
Very
had a great
good.
conversation, but they were explaining to me, because we were working on that package with them quite a few years ago, because one of the things we do at Grow Clinton is we identify if an expansion creates jobs, and if the capital investment is high enough, then we can potentially apply for state and local incentives, specifically property tax abatement. But this project wasn't at that capacity, but it's
Right.
still great for Sethnes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. So Ryan, before we close this out, none of this happens without labor. You guys are looking for employees right now, huh?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we are getting into the hot of the season right now, and literally and
Literally,
figuratively.
So hot.
So, no, we're always looking for great talent, and we've been posting quite a few positions online. I think we have 4 or 5 open positions right now that have been out there. We're in the process of interviews currently, and those are going great. There's a lot of great talent in this community that have been reaching out. We've been seeing a great influx of people that are looking to up their level of up their game to a bigger organization or a change of pace. So we're constantly on the hunt for new talent, and even if there's not a position open, but you have an interest in serving construction with the steel, concrete, or carpentry, we are always looking for talent. If there isn't a position available, we would always dream one up, if nothing else too.
What
So-
positions do you have open right now? What are you looking
So
for?
currently we are on the hunt for a concrete foreman. We have positions open for carpentry services, industrial workers, specific to like the Lyondell opportunities and
Mm-hmm.
some others. And then I believe we have even
Specifically engineering?
we are, I want to say certified. The words are going to escape me right now, but we are formally accepted by the Iowa Department of Labor to have a construction laboring apprenticeship program. We just got that approved a few months ago, and so we have been networking with local schools and setting up meetings with their guidance counselors and the teammates there, because we want to create that funnel. We want to create that opportunity
Sure.
for someone with collaboration with Eastern Iowa Community College's building trades program, to where a student, we could find a student that has interest in the building trades. They would get into the building trades through EICC, complete those courses. Meanwhile, they will be using whatever time they have available, and junior year might not be as many as senior year, where they might be able to have some, I'm going to call them open blocks.
Yeah.
But we would employ them to work around the shop, to be around people. There's limitations for people under 18 years
experience
old.
what the operations
Right.
are like. It's kind of like the learn and earn
But
model.
Right.
it's a 4,000-hour program, and as they progress and they obtain different check marks on their skill list, we'll call it, and also acquire these hours, their pay increases as they go, to the point where when they are completed with that 4,000-hour course, they get their certification of completion with the apprenticeship program. They'll leave with the EICC's building trade certificate, and they will have a full-time job.
No.
And we're trying to get them while they're in high school.
That is such an amazing
It's
opportunity.
brand new, and there's a lot of interest from the high schools.
Yeah, and think about that. I mean, I'll say it again. We all say it, is they don't have that crushing debt when they get out of
Right.
these programs and they go straight to work and they're making money while they're
Right.
doing it. That is such an opportunity.
And at that age too, we can get them exposed to not only the craft level side, but get them exposed to some of the we'll call it the administrative side too.
Right.
Because of the limitations that they have, and because they're still in school, we can give them some exposure on more than just craft work as
Yeah,
well.
no, I absolutely love it.
So-
Huge fan of that model. You know, if I reflect back on my youth as I was exiting high school, I went directly in the military. But one of the things I regret was not learning a trade. Specifically, my stepdad, he's an amazing guy, but he is a commercial electrician, and that's what he's retired from. And
Right.
you know, electric's one of those things. When it comes to electric and plumbing, the DIY stuff, the contractors love me because I'm
Right.
calling them to come fix
I
something.
won't touch it
that's
either.
not worse, but it's very difficult, and you got
Yeah.
to be careful, especially with electric. If you're messing around, you don't
Yeah.
know what you're doing. But every time he comes to visit with my mom, I have a list of things I need to look at, whether it's like a triple switch on a fan or something like that I can't figure out on my own.
Plugging in the toaster.
Yeah, plugging in the toaster. But I wish I had those skill sets. And
Oh,
as like
yeah.
an amateur woodworker, there's just things that I wish I knew how to do that I
Yeah.
never kind of like, even just using a router, a hand router.
Sure.
I mean, the learning curve on that is relatively extreme if you never
Yes.
used it before. And it's a scary tool when you
Yep.
crank it up, especially if you're using like a high powered plunge router
Right.
or something like
Yeah.
that. So over the years, I've learned how to manipulate these tools and create some cool things out of wood. But I just reflect back and said, man, I should have been more involved in like at least learning a trade and having a skill set where it wasn't difficult for me to learn in my 30s.
Right.
You know?
I don't know if you heard this, but we have an apprenticeship program.
Ah.
Yeah.
Here, you know what though? I was really pleased because I went up to one night. I went up to Subway, and there was a gentleman working there, student who was going to graduate from high school, and there were some other workers there. And I said, "So, what do you got planned?" It was in December. He said, "I'm graduating early because I go there regularly, so they know me."
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he said, "Yeah, I'm graduating early." I said, "What are you going to do?" And he said, "I'm going to train in HVAC." And
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
before I could even get out of my mouth, "You're going to make bank." The other kids there went, "Wow."
Right. Right.
You know, so I mean, they know that these
get
programs
it.
are great.
Oh,
they
and
do
job
get it.
security. If you're
Oh,
good, you're
man.
talented, and you're driven, there's no
Right.
place in this world you can go and not find a job.
That is the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we used to, in the military, moving from base to base to base, a lot of my coworkers and fellow service members, their husbands or wives maybe were in the trades, nurses, anywhere they went, they had a job.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Didn't matter what base you were going to, you were an RN, you were getting a job. And the same applied to anybody that had a certification in HVAC, electric, plumbing.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because it's everywhere you go, that service is needed.
It's a need.
Right. And think about how if you're doing something like this and you're working on a project what you said about legacy projects. You're in the community. You can go back 10 years and say, I
was
worked on
part of
that.
that.
I
Yeah.
did that. Yeah.
But just the knowledge to sit back and reflect on what you did with your own two hands.
Right.
You know, like Mark Mangler's a good example, Drew's dad over at the insurance group.
Yeah.
You know, he's excellent when it comes to woodworking. He built the insurance group and I think their home. And
What?
I mean, to sit back and reflect on this and be like, yeah, I built this house.
Wow.
Right.
Like to me,
Right.
that's cool.
That
That's
is
really cool.
so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because back in the old days, I mean, my house was built in 1947. The
Yeah.
people that built my home lived in the basement. They dug
Yeah.
out the foundation, they poured the foundation, they laid the block, and the family lived in the basement while they were
While
building
they're
up.
finishing the
Right.
upstairs.
So, and that that doesn't happen anymore.
No,
A lot of these
my
places,
parents did that. And
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
a lot of these places go up like overnight.
They do. I knew a
quick.
gentleman who back in the 40s dug his basement by hand with a shovel, and I said, "That's so cool." And he said, "No, it wasn't."
It wasn't. Yeah.
No.
I started digging in mid-June and got done in August.
All right. Well, thank you, Ryan, so much for
Yes.
being
Absolutely.
on this 132nd episode of the Grow Clinton podcast. Thank you, Dr. Bradley Bark, for listening. Brad's an awesome dude.
I know.
He's out of Muscatine.
I
He's
know.
there. Not only is he their chamber president, CEO, or executive director, he is also their mayor. So he pretty much runs the
runs
town
the
of
town.
Muscatine.
He's got it
the
locked
mayor.
down.
And Muscatine hosts a Dancing with the Stars competition for local
fun.
celebrities. And he won that too. Twinkle Toes, Bark. Gotta love the guy.
Wow.
And he's
We
a
gotta do-
chiropractor. He's
Hey.
a doctor too.
Let's do that here.
He's a, what?
But Dancing with the Stars. Ryan, will you do it?
I will not.
Oh,
I will promote it with you guys. But
I'll do it.
He'll build the dance floor.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Thank you again for listening to another episode of the Grow Clinton podcast. Thank you so much to Miles Communications for hooking us up with high-speed, wicked-fast fiber internet. Check them out, milestelephone.com, milestelephone.com. Until I talk to you next time, I'm not going to change my name. Andy Sokolovich, right here, Grow Clinton, always joined by Jenny home for our office. Stay classy, folks. We'll talk to you soon. See ya. Nope, still didn't work.
Working.
All right, yeah, true. We can sing. I can do some singing again.
Do it.
Goddamn,
Do
I'm not
it.
Singing.
Gosh, I don't know what
Do
happened
you
there.
sing?
I do not.
Well, why won't you to? Go ahead.
We're still live,
I'm
Jenny.
a shower singer.
A shower singer.